Stop living on autopilot. What if the reason your life feels like it's slipping through your hands isn't time, but the way you're living it? Think about this for a second. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and before you realize it, another year is gone. You wake up, check your phone, handle responsibilities, solve problems, go to sleep, and repeat. But let me ask you something uncomfortable. Are you truly living with awareness, or just surviving on autopilot? Because here's the truth no one talks about. 2026 won't magically become a better year just because the calendar changes. It will only feel different if you become different. And that transformation doesn't begin with massive life overhauls or unrealistic goals. It begins in the smallest, almost invisible moments, through micro-spiritual habits that quietly reshape your mind, your emotions, and your connection to life itself. Today, you're going to see how these simple daily practices can completely change how you experience time, presence, and inner peace, preparing you to step into 2026 awake, grounded, and fully conscious. There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix. A deep, silent fatigue that doesn't come from your body, but from your disconnection. It's the feeling of always rushing, always chasing, always trying to get somewhere that never quite arrives. Have you ever reached the end of the day and felt like you were there, but not really there? Like everything happened, but you didn't truly experience any of it? That emptiness is not a lack of time, energy, or ability. It's a lack of presence. And here's the emotional shift that changes everything. Spirituality isn't about escaping the world, it's about learning how to be fully present inside it. In your work, your conversations, your decisions, and even your silence. Once you understand this, something inside you starts to shift. You realize you don't need hours of meditation or complex rituals. You need small, intentional pauses, micro-practices that bring you back to yourself again and again. Micro-spiritual habits are simple acts of awareness that interrupt the autopilot. A single conscious breath before starting a task. A brief pause before replying to a message. A quiet moment of gratitude when you wake up, even on difficult days. It sounds small, almost insignificant. But that's exactly where the power lives. Because these moments begin to rewire your internal system. They teach your mind and body to slow down, observe, and choose, rather than react. So let me ask you, how would your life change if you reacted less and chose more? If your actions came from clarity instead of impulse? That's when spirituality stops being an idea and becomes a daily experience. Each microhabit creates a crack in the noise of your routine. And through that crack, presence enters. Clarity enters. Peace begins to grow. Let's start with something you already do every second of your life. Breathing. It's the most underestimated spiritual tool you have. You breathe all day, but rarely with awareness. Now imagine this. Before starting something important, you pause for 10 seconds. You inhale slowly, feeling the air fill your lungs. You exhale, releasing tension. That simple act sends a powerful signal to your nervous system. You are safe, you are present, you are in control. Think about it. How many conflicts could have been avoided if you had paused and breathed before reacting? How many decisions would have been different if you had created space before responding? Conscious breathing doesn't just change a moment, it changes patterns. And patterns shape your future. This is how a conscious life begins. One breath at a time. Now consider the first thought you have when you wake up. That thought is a seed. If you begin your day with stress, comparison, or worry, that emotional tone follows you for hours. But what if you chose something different? What if, before touching your phone, before thinking about your responsibilities, you paused and felt a moment of gratitude? Not something grand, just something real. The fact that you're alive. That you have another chance. That today can be different. Gratitude doesn't ignore your problems. It changes the position from which you face them. It trains your mind to see possibility before threat. So ask yourself, from where do you want to live your life? From constant fear, or from conscious presence? This one habit can shift everything. Here's where most people get it wrong. They believe transformation requires intensity, big actions, dramatic changes. But the real shift happens when you understand that it's not about doing more, it's about doing consistently. 1 minute of presence every day is more powerful than an hour once a month. because consistency builds something deeper. You start to feel more centered, less reactive, more aware of your thoughts before they control you, more aware of your emotions before they define your actions. And that changes everything, because awareness creates choice, and choice creates freedom. Maybe no one around you will notice at first, but you will. And that's enough to keep going. So let me ask you a few honest questions. How many moments of your day are you truly present in? How many of your decisions are made by habit instead of awareness? What would change if you paused for just a few seconds before acting? Are you preparing for a new year, or simply repeating old patterns in a new calendar? These questions aren't meant to create guilt. They're meant to create clarity. Because only when you see clearly can you change intentionally. A conscious year isn't built through external goals. It's built through internal habits, through silence, breathing, gratitude, awareness, and intentional pauses. Each micro-spiritual habit is like an invisible brick, building a life that feels aligned, calm, and meaningful. And over time, something incredible happens. The autopilot weakens. Presence strengthens. And you stop being a prisoner of time, and start becoming a participant in your own life. If something inside you resonated with this message, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start small. Start today. Choose one micro-practice and carry it with you over the next few days. And if you want to anchor this intention, write one word that represents how you want to enter 2026. Presence, clarity, peace, awareness. Because when you name your intention, you begin to give it life. Remember, your future isn't created someday. It's built quietly, in the small choices you make every single day. So, click like and subscribe to the channel.